What's going on, y'all? We back with another episode of Straight No Chasing Cowboys podcast with JC and my boy D Brown, man. Listen, we got a show for you. Just some personal stuff. Had a long day of work yesterday, so I'm hanging up best I can. But hey, I committed. You can't hear me? You can't hear me at all?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. JC, you hear me?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Okay, D Brown, you should be able to hear me. See if you can jump down and jump back up. Shout out to my guy Azriel, first of his name in the building. Good to see you, bro. It's been a while. And shout out to my guy Between the Game Sports, my day one dude. You know what time it is. So yeah, man, we got a good show lined up for you. Again, your boy wanted to call in this morning, but you know what? The show must go on every day, and every day the show must go on. JC, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm great, and I don't like to get stuck in the past, but after this last game, I will say this. It's my mire, and if I want to wallow in it, I damn sure will.
Hey, I feel it. Hey, last week definitely left a bad taste in our mouths because those are winnable games that we're supposed to beat them because we're just better than them. And here we go back to the same old Cowboy stuff, and we kind of forecasted this, talking about our red zone ineptitude, and here we go, building ass week 3. But Nick, what's up?
What's up, fellas? What's up, man? What's up, y'all? Good to see y'all in the chat. I dipped out and came back in. I was having an audio problem, but I caught the very end of what you guys were saying about the bad taste from last week, man. And the more I thought about this game, looking back last week, man, it was the disappointing piece, man, was the one thing that we previewed before the season even started was, remember we talked about questions. We talked about, what we thought would look good and what we were positive about. But then again, this team wasn't a finished product or, an established deal by any stretch. I mean, you got some new pieces, whatever else. But the biggest thing we talked about, the single biggest thing was what they look like defending the run, because that was the one thing that was the big guten Tag. Hey, I love it. Was defending the run, and man, the thing that pissed me off. It was a couple things, man. I got heat for overall how bad they played, especially on defense. The run game, man, is attitude. The run game is the mano y mano, probably the most, I think, being able to run and being able to stop the run is probably the most, He-Man aspects of the game, if you will. I mean, because you just line up in the trenches like, man, I'm gonna move that dude right in front of me. It's kind of like the old now, Cliff, I might be dating myself. Joey probably gonna appreciate this reference. The old Billy Jack movie, man. You remember Billy Jack, Joey? You remember the Billy Jack joints, man? He basically tells you, man, like, I'm gonna take this foot, I'm gonna put it on that side of your face, and there's a damn thing you can do about it. That's the run game in the NFL. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just that you get off the ball, and let me segue into who I got the most smoke for. Now,
I'm gonna say it for youngins out there. It's like old Alabama, early Nick Saban football. We gonna run the ball every time, and ain't shit you can do about it.
Right.
We gonna win the defensive line every time, and ain't shit you can do about it. You can talk about how uncreative our play strategy is. You can talk about how unsexy it looks. We gonna run the football we run, and ain't shit you can do about it. Go ahead.
Les Miles at LSU. That's what got him out. Same thing, and win budge off of it. Great example. But man, of all the things that I really had smoke with, one was just the lack of. Now they did adjust a little bit, man, but it was just how Dallas got punked, at the line of scrimmage at the point of attacking the run game. But the thing that really pissed me off about this game, man, because you can't give away winnable games. We talk about this all the time, man. You got to bank winnable games early in the year, man, because attrition sets in. We already started the season without injuries, all kind of things, man. When you stack those wins early, and and you're in a conference with a Philly, or in a division with a Philly, you're in a conference with a San Francisco. You know what I mean? You gotta bank these wins, man, because come when it gets to getting important in November, December, those early wins really matter. So that was really disappointing, man. But what I want to get y'all weigh in on, man, especially those in the chat. Man, the one cat out of all this deal, everybody on defense, nobody was spared. A little bit of smoke for the offense, and including our man QB1. I know we get to him. But, man, I had the most smoke for Mike McCarthy. I thought that was – man, because if you're going to wear the mantle of being an offensive play caller and you got 3 starters missing on the offensive line, what in the hell are you doing with Dak Prescott dropping back like everything's hunky-dory? Why are you not – why do we not have 45 rushing attempts when you got a 3-headed, group, a solid group in the run game, and you just let those youngsters who got called up damn near 15 minutes before the game, and you got them in pass pro like they seasoned vets. I thought Mike McCarthy was piss poor last week. Piss poor.
Let me add this. On like why not go Colorado, man? When you have an inept line, quick out, everything quick out, and until you start to show that you have more options, and that defense will start backing up. It's the USC did yesterday on that, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They got back in the game. Yeah,
great example.
And you got guys you can do shit like that with.
Thank you.
You got goddamn freaking what's my man name? It's escaping me. Shit. I started running back. Fuck. Tony Pollard.
Oh, Tony Pollard. Yeah.
You got the personnel to do it with.
Rico. I don't think Rico's being used enough, to be honest with you. I really don't. And this red zone thing, let me hold on before we get to the red zone. Let me get back to McCarthy for a second. The play calling, his offensive game plan, and I'm laying it right at his feet because it was very clear when we got rid of the bead that he was going to be the guy called offensive play call. So we talked about that when the season started. How would this look? Man, if you can't manage games better than that from an offensive play calling standpoint, that's the shit you get. And this red zone thing, and I'm going to say it to my blue in the face. Why in the hell you realize Dallas has not run play action on first down in the red from the 5-yard line in yet? Bruh, it's like the Utah Jazz pick and roll. This shit works almost all of the time, bro. It's like it's automatic because teams are not they're going to stack up. They're not going to allow you just to walk the dog in the end zone. They're going to load up against the run. Play action works. I don't know what the stat is, man. I'm sure there's a next-gen nerd stat out there. But I'd be willing to bet you play action on first down from the 5-yard line in probably works. Joey, what would you say? 70% of the time? Maybe 60? It's got to be better than half, right? So, I mean, there's that. But, man, Rico's got size. Rico's a physical runner. He finished his runs falling forward. Why is he not in there more when it's just time to turn around and hand off to him and let him pound it into the end zone? I don't get that. I really don't get that, man. And this is it's week 4, but this is already a concern to me, man, because this is what we got. McCarthy's gonna be making these calls and then not taking the points when you've been struggling all day and you just literally you could see Arizona begging to give that game back to them. When they went down there on the long drive, I mean, you could almost feel the oh shit happening with them, like not again. And what does McCarthy do? Just, you know what? We're just going to give that momentum right back to him and not take those points. You got a defense that's rested after a 13-play drive. They're getting off the ball. The momentum had definitely shifted, and McCarthy alone shifts and gives it right back to him, man. This is concerning me, bro. And that's I've been stewing on that like this whole week. Like, man, I do not want this dude to revert back to this. And you're giving away games, bro, and you can't afford to do that.
JC, take forward.
You're talking about the run zone, man. The red zone. That's where you really need that commitment to the run game.
Yes,
in the red zone, and it goes to what you said about setting up play action. It's not even so much that you have to be successful in the run game. You just have to be committed to it. If you're committed to it, then play action will work. I've said it time and time again. When the defense, even if they're stopping the run, what the defenders like to do, they like to keep busting that ass.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, you're running it again, huh? You're going to get the same effect, the pull in, suck in. the first step.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need. All right,
Yep.
now on McCarthy, which again, a serious point of contention here with this guy. I still have not gotten an answer, but did this platypus of a man decline a safety? Okay, now it brings about an interesting point. Okay,
Platypus.
it does the official come over and say, hey coach, you got holding, and it was in the end zone, and the quarterback was in the end zone. Holding occurred in the end zone,
Right.
In the end zone, right?
Right.
Or does he look over and fat ass is over there? Will decline, because that way, if we decline, then it eats it down for them, and we get the ball back faster.
Right.
Well, once, dummy, if you take the penalty, you get the ball back immediately. There is no speed faster than immediately.
Right.
You get the ball back. It's 21-15, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, with the safety, right? And you went for it on fourth down, which had them down there. Okay, fine.
Right.
The best possible outcome of going forward on fourth down is to have them so backed up that you get a safety and get the ball back immediately. You eschewed the 3 points, but you got it back with the safety. And to me, it's unconscionable. This goes back to when he first got here against the Giants. Does not challenge what was clearly not a catch. Giants get a field goal, win the game.
Right.
Okay. Last year in the playoffs, and again, I've seen some debate on this. The Kittle play, where it looked like he was an illegal man downfield based on the alignment. They put him inside, kind of went unbalanced, and you look up, and Gallimore was trying to cover this dude because they hid him. Now, I've seen debate and 44 was just, was set up just enough off that he was eligible, right? But whatever. Nobody says anything, nothing said about it. And you have holding in the end zone. And look, you have a group of individuals in an organization, especially a very competitive organization. I mean, a very competitive endeavor, or a group of men. You cannot always get them to agree. As a matter of fact, they rarely agree. So you're telling me that not one individual said, coach, it's safety. It's safety. It's a safety.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
You get the ball back. It's 21-15. And we know most kickoffs don't get returned. But those safety punts, those are the only ones that get returned, really.
Yeah, because you got a lot of room.
I believe Turpin would have got us at least up to the 40. So, boom. You're in business again, man.
Right.
This dude didn't give it any thought at all. And I guess, obviously, it's not incumbent upon the officials to say, hey, coach, it's a safety, or you decline second out. He's just over there on the sideline, this fat mother. Listen, I know sometimes I could be insensitive. The powers that be have taken away our ability to abide by the first rule of the playground, and that's if you don't understand something or it's different, to make fun of it. All right. Now they can take away my land, they can take my life, but they will never, ever take away my ability to make fun of fat people at the opportune time. I swear, I can't. Again, and I'll say this and leave it at this. You grind on this 100 hours a week, and you have other intelligent men and people around you. Okay, was there? It's on him. He's the head coach, which you shouldn't have to have somebody pick you up and say, "Hey, that's a safety." I mean, are we gonna turn down points here? Right. Nobody says that, or he already had it in his mind. Well, I'm going to decline because that's going to get us the ball back faster, right? Right. Look, I've seen this, and this is some obscure shit that I'm talking about. I saw Chan Gailey do this, I don't know, 25 years ago or so, whenever he was the head coach. Chan Gailey, they like on second down, right? They get a hold. We're gonna decline it, right? Of course, there's something. It's just turn around and use the 2 downs to get a first down, right? It happens like that every time. The only time you decline a holding penalty on offense, all right, is if you get a turnover or if it was third down and they didn't get the distance to make. That's the only time. You always push them back. You push them back. All right. Now, if he even had that, what I believe is a tried and true tenet of football, push those bastards back. Okay. In every other situation except the ones that I outlined. Some of us might not even have known it was a safety, but if he would have adhered to the rule, push them back. Oh, shit. Oh, it's a safety? Damn, who knew? Right?
Right.
To me. All right. And I know in media, we talk in a lot of extremes, and I'm guilty of it, hyperbole and all this type of stuff. But it's a fireable offense. Did this man just turn down points?
Points. Right.
We don't know if it would have been different.
Twice.
But are you kidding me, dude?
All back.
We have to overcome certain limitations with our quarterback. Okay, that's already a blow against us, but fine. We with the coaching and with the killer defense constructed around him, right? We can still win with it. Now you add a coach that is seriously questionable, and of course you've got Gerald, the producer, dancing around in the videos. You know what I'm saying, right? So these are of the three, the quarterback thing you can work with, okay? All right, by building the team, that's fine. But then you add in the coach, okay, and his just inexplicable decision making. Okay,
right.
Again, I'm saying we talked about how he got gamed out of a timeout by Coach Rowe at one time. This is the NFL. It's hyper competitive, and as we always say, if you F around, these teams will beat you. You cannot attach handicap after handicap after handicap and still expect to win. And I'm incredulous about McFadden. I'm just
before you rock D Brown. Yeah, man. Joey, you're absolutely right. And somebody, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's supposed to be a system in place for these situational occurrences, as far as fourth downs, as far as when they go for the field goal, just protocols that your assistant's supposed to tell you that you just go with already. So maybe somebody did tell McCarthy, but he has that thing where he just waves people off and does his own thing. So maybe it was one of those things, because you can't tell me an NFL program does not have a hierarchy system of like, when this situation happens, we go here because it makes sense, because statistically it proven right for yada yada yada. So that means he just overrode everything, right? And just went and dove in, and then now you got egg on your face. So that's, to me, like you said, that's a fireable thing, man. So once we go at the end of the year and start, putting a report card up, we got to put an asterisk on this Arizona game because we lost a freaking Josh Dobbs, for crying out loud, right? And making poor decisions, and these kind of things, like Darren led into, lead you to having to scramble at the end of the year to find a playoff position because you didn't take care of business with these games you're supposed to win. So everybody love to say about the Cowboys, just beat the Cardinals. So what? You supposed to beat them. We didn't beat them now. So then it turns to, well, y'all Cowboys, and it's like, damn all that. You supposed to take care of these games like this, because that's found money right there. And shout out to my guy, Matthew.
Absolutely.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir. I love that's a great point, Cliff, about banking these games. Man, I like what you're bringing up about the coach. And right as you were saying that, I had a thought. So, see, for me, man, to your game management point about McCarthy, that's completely inexcusable, bro, because his experience, I can understand that from, say, a Dan Campbell. I can understand that from, these cats whose tenure as head coaches, when you're in that game management situation, because because you're the ultimate delegator as the head coach. So you depending on so many things when it's live action, right? But your job is to stay in tune with what's happening on that field, and when you got to make those snap decisions, which is why you get the big check, right? Those are those high pressure decisions that you have to be on top of. Yeah, you can have, an assistant or whomever, or a hierarchy, or however you want to call it, where it's like, man, if this is the situation. But when you are a Mike McCarthy, when you've got that kind of tenure on the sideline as a head coach, as a game manager, as an offensive play caller, all of those things, I'm not excusing that, bro, at all. And I want to flip to with that in terms of the poor decisions.
Before you do that, I want to hit up some of the folks' questions.
Yeah.
So you can touch on them, and then we'll get to our talking points.
Between
what says Diggs seems to be the vocal leader. Parsons looks like the type of just follow me. Thoughts and concerns. You guys can keep it short, but I want to make sure we interact.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I love the point.
Yeah.
I think he's right.
Going, D Brown, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. I think that's a good. I think that's on point. Diggs does seem to be more of the talk everybody up, get everybody going type guy, and Parsons just hey man, here's the foxhole. Follow me, we going that way. The big guy up front. So I think that's a terrific point, man. But you know what? They're gonna have to overcome that. And however they need to get it done, whether the combination of if somebody else emerges or somebody just hey man, look, Javon is not out there, he can't be out there with us. So, I mean that's what NFL seasons, that's what teams are made of. When somebody is out, Cliff, you used the Colorado reference yesterday. I mean, somebody got to go be a Marion. You know what I mean? Somebody got to get the opportunity. Hello, and step up. I mean, that's just the nature of the Bears. So I think that's a great point, man, and that's something they're gonna have to overcome to, do what they are expected to do.
All right,
they ran zone read like on the first play, and the Cowboys were thrown like a hook from that point on. All right, oh my God, it's zone read. What do we do? Right, and it's not like you're gonna make zone read. Right, you can't make zone read the basis of your offense in the NFL. It's a gimmick, all right? Or, as I've stated before, as my man Brian Dawkins said, it's shit, okay? It's technology, all right? And speaking of Diggs, Bland is playing that side, and so he's just like, hey, don't mess this up. I'm going to be sure to go with my man. We've seen Diggs and zone and other things come off of his guy and get picks. Okay, imagine a scenario in which they do the zone read stuff and Diggs sniffs it out. They come to that side and he stones it. Okay, no more zone read at that point. All right, that's another example of Diggs' leadership and his ability, right? Okay, and what a big loss it was. And we know it. We definitely got to move on. But again, I think it's something that's definitely tangible and something that you look at. It's the inability to adjust. And if you're not going to make the adjustments, then somebody like Diggs or the players, particularly defensively, will make them for you and bail you out. That didn't happen. Again, they ran zone read and they were thrown. And I tell you what, today, you want to talk about if you F around, they will beat you. The Patriots epitomize that. And they have a commitment to the run game. Doesn't matter who's running the ball.
That's true.
No, it's not. I mean, it could be Lamar Smith from Houston. It could be Deion Lewis, whoever. They're going to run it. No matter who they have in the backfield, they're going to run it. And not to mention, Zeke had a good game last week. He's going to be juiced. So, I mean, this was definitely got me nervousing for a lot of reasons. My confidence is shaking. I will say that. It's shaking a little bit right now. After 2 weeks, I thought, well, playoffs, locked, guaranteed, counted, it's on the board. Now, this is kind of reminding me of 2017 when they went up there and they laid that egg in Denver. It was like, oh, this is different. This was a terrible effort. These guys are different.
Yeah. I
don't know. Long season, we got to see.
Well, yeah, we literally within a week went from like the best team in football to like, oh shit, same old Cowboys. Now listen, I'm not Chicken Little, so I'm not gonna go so hyperbolic or go so like hot and cold, as it were, from those two prognostications. Because I thought before that the Arizona game, we were like one of the top 5, maybe 3 football teams in the NFL. But then we go and lay an egg like this. But again, good teams have laid an egg before. So again, I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater. Mm-hmm. But it is worth mentioning that That's a hell of a disappointing loss, man. Losing to the backup quarterback, right? Now, I get it. We got personnel out. I get it. But I mean, listen, good teams got a program where next man up and you go out there and you still perform. You beat teams you're supposed to beat off moxie alone or game execution alone. Talk about the team we about to play, New England. Tell me more about when they won them goddamn Super Bowls that from top to bottom they had the best roster in the NFL. I'll wait. Besides the year they had the best team, they didn't even win it. Shit, 2007.
Right. The undefeated year. Yep.
Yes. So I mean, come on with it, man. Like everybody else can find a way to patchwork. Everybody else can find a way to next man up. I'm tired of us where we has to be this perfect case scenario all the goddamn time for us to win. I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of that shit.
Right.
And April said, difference between being beat and getting your ass handed to. That's a complete embarrassment. Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. And that, April, to piggyback off the point you just made, when she said with the Eagles barely winning games and not looking as strong, we were told they were going to be it's a tough pill to swallow, seeing Dallas give games away. I totally agree. And I'm not so much, off. Yeah, I'm not so much like, oh shit, I don't think, like playoffs or in jeopardy or anything like that. I think this team is a really good team that went out there and played like shit. And those things happen. There's still legitimate concern. This is I guess last week was the first of what I hope, is not multiple repeat performances from that defense. But, the thing that was discouraging about, especially defensively, and the reason this is such an emphasis on how poorly they played defensively, because there was such an emphasis on how well they played weeks 1 and 2. You had people out there in all manner of platform insisting that the only reason Dallas was winning those games, the games that 1 and 2, was because of their defense. Not accurate, but the defense was a really, really strong presence. And just so for those who are joining us here, and I'm reading stuff about how they got exposed, whatever else. This is one of the things that pisses me off. It would be different if Dallas had gone up against in weeks 1 and 2, where they had gone up, and I'm talking about the run defense now. If they had gone up against offenses who didn't particularly run the ball well, or against backs who weren't really, really good backs. But forgive me if I'm wrong, but week 1, they had a guy named Saquon Barkley, right? And the Giants last year had a really, really good running attack. As a matter of fact, the big part of the reason they made the playoffs last year was because of their commitment to what was a very good run game. I believe that crew came back and Dallas handled it, right? I think week 2, they featured a guy named Dalvin Cook, I think, who's pretty good running back. And again,
Brees Hall.
Yeah, and Brees also is like, you got, and again, one of the strengths of the Jets' attack, one of the bright spots of their deal was their defensive front and their run game. Now, they will challenge the quarterback, obviously, to go out and get Rodgers, but that was the strength. And Dallas played them really well. So I don't want to hear about, how now all of a sudden they see some semblance of a run game, because the back in Arizona, Connor, had been running the field really well all year. And he ran like a grown-ass man, Cowboys Sunday. And that's the other thing. They weren't doing anything special. They were just lining up, turning around, handing the ball. They were just kicking their ass. You got to call it, how you see it. So this is an attitude thing. I fully expect, Dallas having, the tape had to have pissed them off all week. I'm sure, we know these cats, stay plugged into media and everything else. I mean, there's
they are the media. Cowboys are the media.
Right. There you go. Great point. They plug into what's being said and whatnot. There's a precious few that don't, but by and large, they don't need media. They don't need us. They don't need the national blowhards to remind them of how piss poor they played on defense, because they got all the glory in the first 2 weeks. They're getting all the smoke this week, and they deserved it. So now it just boils down to what the hell they're going to do about it. I think this team is good enough to do something about it. But I will say this, and I had to revert back to our guy, the great Richard Walker. Boy, Leighton Vander Elsewhere concerns me.
Boy.
He concerns me. Man, if you look at some of those runs, bro, he was looking Jalen-esque You know, he's like, you running real fast into the other guy, and the dude's running right past you. You ain't getting off one block. You're not reading one angle, and you're chasing way more plays than you need to be at linebacker. That might be a continual problem. This is where, again, I'm going to say it again. This is where I think they really missed that kid. And I know he's a rookie, but this is where I really think they missed that kid Overshown, because I think he's one of those guys you can plug and play and help curb some of this stuff in the run in the run defense.
Yeah.
When you see the kind of defense that you see a lot in the NFL, and it's in the back seven, quarters across, not by two. And I've said this before, and it's not that I'm coming up with anything, you know, revolutionary or genius. The way to get them out of that is to hit those 7s and 8s, okay, at those guys that, you know, used to be linebackers or whatever that are now slot corners, okay? That's where they had all their success running the ball outside.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So your ends have to set that edge. They got to set that edge, man. And we saw some instances of this, you know, of them getting beat to the boundary last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, we've discussed the fact that it can be scheme related, okay, but ultimately, I think as DB, as you just said, it's 1-on-1. Hip shake that bastard, man. At least get a stalemate, okay.
Right.
Set that edge, right? And so now you know how it is, man. I mean, the blood's in the water. We're gonna do that now until you show us you can stop it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so that's what you're going to get. So hopefully the proper adjustments are made and we can see why we invested a first-round pick, all right, in Mozzie Smith. Mm-hmm. Because if we make those adjustments on the outside, then obviously the chess game continues, then they're going to run in the middle. If they have nowhere to go in the middle, you're all set. This is supposed to be a piece here, okay? Interior, one tech, nose tackle type with all of the physical ability. That's what this was for. That's what this pick was made for. And I'm telling you, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is what it comes down to in terms of coaching. The preparation. It's like my man Cliff was saying, you know, this happens, you do this. This happens, you do this. This is science, man. It's applied science to whereas you know what you're supposed to do in the flow chart and you move on. It's like like an extra point card. Down by this many, go for 2, right? You have that stuff in place,
right?
Okay, so that you can deal with the unfolding actions and all the curveballs you're going to get during a football game. You've got that on lock, so you don't worry about it, and you move forward. It's protocol, it's preparation. It is essential. I guarantee you, Belichick and them are prepared. Trust me.
Yeah. And the best game plan in the business.
Hey, man, like they say in Tennessee, we finna see today. We're going to find out. We're going to find out, right? If this was an anomaly, or if the outside run game, and zone read can throw you so bad. Right. This is essentially the way to beat the Cowboys. The running at Micah thing, I get that. They did the same stuff with LT. You could counter that by moving him around. Okay? That you could counter that. That's not an absolute killer. But it's the rest of the team. It's the scheme, okay, in terms of what are you going to do to counter it and not be left wide ass open, you know, in some other area. Okay? And that's what Smith is for. Because they got to stop that outside run game. There's a problem that dates back 2 years. They have to stop it.
Yep.
And Smith is supposed to allow you to do that, okay, by being able to pull your defense, your ends out to more of a wide technique, okay, because your interior is taken care of. Again, this is going to be an interesting game today, man. Super interesting. And this is why we watch football, man, the drama. There's storylines everywhere.
No doubt.
In any NFL game, you got great storylines. And this one is particularly juicy.
Yeah, and I like it because this is, again, against a team that is well prepared. and like, you know, for, you know, to kind of crystallize that point, like all these teams have these protocols in place so you don't get caught up in the moment. So you understand situational awareness. You make the sound decision and you move on. Because one thing you don't want to do is be too comfortable making decisions out of emotionality. As I'm going this way. Oh shit, I got to do something. No, you stick to your tenets. You stick to your program of what we set down at the end of the year before a player was not before a player was signed, but before you cared about free agency, before you cared about week one matchups. You sat down and said, okay, what are we as a football team? What philosophically do we want to do, especially getting rid of an OC? You should have these shits in place where this is like, clockwork. Oh, we take a safety here. And you don't second guess it because you already pre-guessed it. When you had no emotion, you had no in-game influence, we set a standard. And hell, we're talking about something that doesn't even need all that pre-thought shit. So that's the right? So it just makes you wonder. So, because this may be an earmark to a bigger discussion down the line. Spoiler alert.
Right. I like this input from Trinity Game Sports. He actually put a question forward about is Diggs being out making that big of a difference.
Okay, I'll go back to that one.
Yeah, because I like both of them about us being concerned. Was Diggs missing that big of a blow? In Sunday's game, no. There's going to be instances throughout the season where he's going to be missed. I mean, you don't lose a all-pro talent and not miss him. I think Deron Bland is good. I mean, he's shown enough from his an impressive year last year with his versatility and his ability, his ball skills, and his ability to cover. He's going to be pressed into doing it. But man, as far as the game as it played out last week. No, that was about attitude. That was about front seven. I mean, even the safety play when like where the hell was Malik Hooker running on the one long run? I mean, he literally ran right past the guy going the other way with the ball. It was like, man, what the hell are we doing? That's not a Diggs thing. I don't think Dobbs killed them enough on the outside to where he was like, damn, we missed Trayvon Diggs. So yeah, you missed his presence. Yeah, you miss how he can affect things when they, maybe looking the other way or what have you, and that'll that'll make itself known throughout the year. But as far as appreciate that, Saul. But as far as the game this past Sunday, not so much. And to your second thing about the being concerned about the wide receiver production with CD, I think that'll work itself out, man. I think. I was liking what I was starting to see with Cooks. He was a little banged up. I think that's going to work itself out. And I was actually liking what I'm starting to see again with Gallup. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the wide receiver protection is going to be a big issue as the year goes on. I think that's actually going to get better because Gallup looks like he's got that burst again. He's explosive. He's getting off the ground. He's making the big contested catches, which is what he was doing before the knee injury. And Cooks has shown that ability to get open, take top off. So, health being the big equalizer, I think if, those guys can, like everybody else, can stay healthy, I think that production is going to be solid.
I like this comment. Then we'll go to the actual game preview.
Sure.
As we're playing the show. Big Pun, first time seeing you around.
Big Pun, appreciate you popping on, man.
Appreciate it. It's time to rethink Dak. We know who he is. He's not him. Well, I'm gonna say this. I don't personally like that term him. It's just kind of like it's like every 10 years is a new iteration of that dude. Or what was the old word? Different. Different was the old iteration of that. So I mean, but I get what you're saying. So I'm not gonna dismiss your point. No, Dak Prescott has never been quote unquote him. He's never been that. Dak Prescott has been a guy either over evaluated, over scrutinized, or some Cowboy fans under evaluating and under scrutinized. It's always been a little bit of something in between of that. I think level-headed Cowboy fans has always seen that Dak is he's a glorified game manager with big playability. Because if we're going back to 2020, Dak could sling that ball around, right? Problem is we couldn't do it against the teams that it mattered with, and so it kind of came off as empty calories. That was Stephen A. Smith's big thing around there. Empty calories. So it's almost like Dak never really got a fail from both angles. So I'm with you though, because I'm about out of excuses for Dak Prescott. I am because I've been an ardent fan of his since inception. Because let me back up for a second. We got to cash out for my guy Saul. So let me get the banner, because Bernie Mac gonna make an appearance. But when Dak first came, if we remember, when Tony Romo was sitting out, when he was ready to go, that was a very controversial move for Jerry Jones to leave Dak in being starting, being QB1. And Dak played his ass off. Playoff game that year we lost to Green Bay. Dak balled his ass off. Now later in the game, he did it sooner in the game. So I'm not gonna play Dak like he ain't had his moments, because he has. He's had them damn moments, but he's had a lot of stuff.
He's had more of them than not. That's the part I don't get.
Right.
That's the part I don't get with this rethink Dak thing. Is like, if you're rethinking Dak, what's the alternative? I don't get this.
Because we've had some bad quarterbacks before him and Romo.
Cliff, we've done this. This is year 3. We've done this 3 years in a row. Like, I can call roll, man. Chad Hutchinson, Anthony Wright.
Yep.
I mean, come on, man. Quincy. That whole abyss between Aikman and Romo was horrible, and he's nothing close to that.
The names keep going. Vinny Testaverde.
Come on, man. God almighty.
Drew Bledsoe was all right for us. But we had some bad quarterbacks back there.
Horrible. Clint Sterner.
Ryan Lee.
Right. I mean, you got me. Come on, man. Come on. I like when you brought that though, Cliff. I really like that. But run that description about it again. A glorified game manager with big playability.
Yeah.
You know what, man? That's a dope ass description, and that's not a bad thing if you think about it. Because that's, you know what, man? That's the more I think about that, man, I really like that, because that's really on point. And I'm gonna tell you why I think it's a good thing. Because again, and we talked about it on the show, we've seen classic game managers with strong defenses and run games, and to my man Joey's point, fat asses that don't make dumb decisions, like win Super Bowls. I'm gonna say it again. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. So we've seen, a completely washed Peyton Manning, and I mean Peyton Manning was washed. I could throw the ball further than Peyton Manning. The last Super Bowl he won. With a great defense in the run game, you can do that. The thing with that, I love that description. But if you got that guy who's a game manager and do those things, and every now and again he can hit that throw to Gallup, he can hit that throw to CD, he can the scramble play that he made. Did y'all jump out to see? When the last time y'all seen that from Dak? That was the old Dak wanting to. That was Dak in the Seattle playoff game. Like, I'm going to make this play. Damn it to hell. I mean, he plants his feet, he jukes a dude, stiff arms to one cat, 4 yards short of the line of the game, and gets the first down. I was like, okay. And I think that's where the frustration is with a lot of, Dak observers, is that you see he can be a little bit more. But I think, Cliff, I think that description is on point. A game manager with big playability. That's it. And but here's the thing though. He does far more good. This is the truth. He does far more good than bad. However you want to judge the bad, and like the play at the end of the game was bad. However you want to judge the bad, by all means, feel free. But keep things in context, people. He does way more good than bad. You can do exponentially worse than Dak Prescott as QB1. Don't believe me? Take your ass around the league and get back to me. I mean, come on.
Ask Houston Texans. Just go
Thank you. You can do way worse than Dak Prescott as your quarterback, man. So tap brakes, please.
Tap brakes. You ain't said that in a while. So before you go, JC, let me acknowledge my guy Saul and Machismo TV putting 100 done on it. You know they get you over here, man.
You know what I mean, boy. Yeah. Money. Yeah. Money. Yeah.
on being cool.
I love it, man.
Cornered.
I love it.
Cornered the market on being cool, man.
Absolutely. Up and burn.
I love that. I mean, I really dig that. I mean, and back to okay, what you guys said about Dak is spot on. It's a great description. You can win. You can win with him.
Absolutely.
But you got to max out everything else around him, and that is possible. I believe the defense has enough talent. Again, we come back to the coaching. I remember when Bill Parcells came here, and the first thing he said was, well, don't do it to yourself. Okay. That's smart football. Don't do it to yourself. That responsibility is on the coaches and preparation, but it's also on the game management. Parcells has this reputation that he's going to run the ball. Man, them some bitches went 10-6 in 2003 because Terry Glenn was coming off in the slot. And so they're talking to Parcells, and he's saying, well, you guys know me. I'm going to run it. He's pushing that narrative. Then you get to the game, and you see how they're hogging out Glenn in the slot. He's doing what he has to do to win with what he has. He also said smart people are problem solvers. Smart people are problem solvers. Okay, that's why you want them on your football team. That's why you want them being your coach. No question, guys like him and Jimmy and Tom Landry are smart guys. Okay, and I'm not saying that McCarthy's a goof, but man, he's rigid in some areas and trying to be fluid in others, and the mix is completely wrong. You hear about this, I want to run the ball, but what happens in the red zone? Okay, it's like DB said, you get inside the red zone, man, that's where running becomes more critical, and if you have a commitment to it, it sets up play action. Okay, we all know, man, Dak thrives in play action.
Yeah,
exactly.
But if you're not going to have that commitment, and again, this is why when you watch the game, okay, if you really watch the game and you understand it, DB also said play action on first down. It's when you
on
make
first down. Exactly.
When you make the call. You
Yes.
can. I used to always believe as a coach, one of the things I would love to do as a coach offensively is come out and go up top first play. Shock and awe, right? I said, oh my God, this guy was a mad bomber. This is crazy passing game and design. They're going to throw it all over the place. Hell, man, I may then come back and run the ball 5 straight plays after that. It's when you do it, which is what y'all were saying, what DB was saying. Yes, commitment to the run. Well, you say you have a commitment to the run game. Well, why are you saying the play action? Because one begats the other.
Mm-hmm.
One begats the other.
Mm-hmm.
Begat blast. All right, next week I'll probably try to drop an ergo blast. It sets it up. It's when you do it. Now, I don't have the confidence that this guy's gonna, that we're gonna win the coaching battle. This is what we said about Garrett.
Damn, I'm down.
When does a guy pull something out, kind of hinky at the right time, right? You know what I mean? And you're like, wow, man, that was a good call. You know what I mean? Like that helped. You don't see that. Commitment to the run game, then they don't do it in the red zone, and then they try to do it when they're inside the 5, 4 or 5 times, slamming into a brick wall. By the time you get the third down, all right, man, forget it. All right, that first down play action, because you got inside the red zone and we're able to run it down and gain ground, getting inside the 5, right? It's perfect there. All right, it's perfect there. People get caught in this all or nothing stuff, man. It's a fluid situation. You guys know this is a fluid situation, and I'm just very concerned about the ability to make adjustments on the fly. And I think we talked about this when Switzer was there. Are you guys going to adjust, or are you just going to stick with the same stuff?
Right.
Like I said, we'll find out.
Yeah, you said we finished.
It almost goes back to that old adage, man. Keep the defense honest. About going deep, just to kind of make them respect the fact you're going to run deep. What we talked about earlier is run play action, even if you ain't been running the ball, because they have to respect that in small space, right? It's honest. For my basketball listeners out here who watching a football podcast, just like when you can't come out there just going inside. Guess what? You got to shoot the 3 Even if you're not a great three-point shooter, just to show that you're a threat, to show I will shoot it.
Yep.
Because guess what they're gonna do? Pack in. Easy stuff, right? So all these things play into, which is the mental game of what football and basketball and aligned sports are comprised of. It's not just because everybody like to read off a stat sheet. Oh, well, he went this for this, and he did
Right.
He got this and that.
Right.
Add that pick and pop to that pick and roll.
Come on, man.
So when that pick and roll, add that pick and pop, baby. We know what they're gonna do. It's a chess game.
Absolutely. You got to make them respect what you do. And if you don't do that, you're leaving shit up for chance, and you're leaving stuff up for error and mistake on the other team. And when they don't make error and mistake, guess what? You got nothing. So
Right.
it's disappointing to watch, McCarthy do that. And it's ironic because McCarthy, dude, we couldn't beat. Dude, we could not beat this dude. Now he's on our sideline. It's just like, God damn it, man. Like, what the hell, man? Like, now he had AR-12, on his side. So I mean, that
Right.
helps.
Yeah.
But it's very disappointing to watch on our side of the field, because I'll be frank with you, I don't give a damn what you did before you showed up. You put that star on your cap. Now you're here. Like, what are you doing here?
Absolutely.
This is year 3 now. Like, come on with it. So, guys, I want to transition to let's do some Patriots game.
No doubt.
So we can land the play on the show. So, Darren, I know you've spoken a while. So, insights, things you see. I know we spoke about the run game briefly. And we didn't even mention, a guy named, Ezekiel Elliott. You may have heard of him, who may want to revenge on his old team.
No
so
doubt.
The points you see that may be, a challenge or will be a challenge for our Cowboys.
I think Joey touched on it big time. Is this is going to come down to attitude and execution, because one thing Bill Belichick is going to do is stay with the run. He's going to stay with it. He is, now the beautiful thing about and all the great the guys that we consider really good, and in his case, great legendary coaches and game managers, all have that same trait. Like the Joey just pointed out, is when to do stuff, right? Like, we know coming in that overall Bill Belichick is going to stick to the run game, so it's going to be up to Dallas to man up and do something about that, and get things to their strengths, which is that pass rush. As simplistic as it sounds, the win for Dallas is to get teams in 3rd and 7 or better. Because I feel like if Mac Jones has to drop back, and and it's incumbent upon him to make a play at 3rd and 7 and beyond, that plays to Dallas' strength. Dallas is absolutely top 3 worst at worst. As we just got breaking news that Drew Holiday's going to the Celtics. Wow.
Oh my God, the rich get richer, boy.
Nice. Marcus who? Anyway, that just threw me off. But no, what I'm saying, we know
it
that
should. Big news.
Damn, Mac Jones. If it's coming upon him, I like Dallas's chances when you talking about like a Daniel Jones or even a Zach Wilson. I mean, I think it's like, if you're doing that, then you let those guys tee off. Dallas is one of the very best in the league at getting after that quarterback. There's no, that ain't Dallas hype. That ain't nothing. Those guys, this year, last couple years actually, but this year, those guys are that good. So it's incumbent upon them to do. Now, you got to watch Belichick because he's one, like you said, that something hinky, that wrinkle, Joey. He's good for that too. And he'll he may come out and run, play action with a deep drop and let one rip on a post, in the first 2 or 3 plays of the game, and then go pound it for the next 15. So to me, it's just an attitude thing, man. I think you get New England in 3rd and long, and specifically 3rd and 7 or more as much as you can. Win on 1st down if you're Dallas on defense, and land the plane on my point. Dallas is going to move the football between the 20s. They have too much personnel not to. Even I think they get Zach and Biotis back. Tyron Smith is out. So, lean on that run game. Please let these guys get off. Set that thing up because Dak's better. when he's playing off the run game. We saw that happen in 2016. He's better when he's feeding off of a run game. If it's a group or whatever, do that. And how about some crossing routes? CD is so good after the catch. Let's get this guy on the move, catch the ball a little bit more, and then in that red zone, it's real simple. They got to convert. Can we see some play action pass? Can we? I love what our guy Aubrey is doing with his leg, but let's not use him as much. Let's get for field goals to generate points. Let's do them on these extra points, score touchdowns, and win the damn game. Because I don't want to go into. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna land it right here before I throw it to you, Joe. I don't want to go on the road to Levi's Park next week, 500. Don't want to do that. So not necessarily as a must win, but man, you better win this one because all of a sudden it gets real funky. Win the game. Don't go to I'm about to say Candlestick. It ain't Candlestick anymore, but don't go to San Francisco at 500. That's what I'm saying.
Nope. Even just from a moxie standpoint, man, like you know how our team is temperamental, man. We need to be on a high. We come down off these losses, and them shit's gonna stack up, man. There's gonna be, I don't want to over project, but God, the worst thing would be this being a waste of a year with the talent we have, with Michael Parsons being where he is now, like CD Lamb coming to being, finally him, like old buddy said. That would be so sad to waste a bad year. And then that's going to start quarterback controversy, with Trey Lance. It's just like, do we really want all that chaos, man? Shit. I mean, I know we the Cowboys. No. We roll with chaos. But God damn it, man. Let's add some stability. Go ahead, Jason.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing that we don't have to worry about is the uncomfortably built Mac Jones running zone read on us. All right. That's not going to happen.
Uncomfortably built.
But again, it's like, you see everything in the NFL. Let's go back to when Prescott was having his unbelievable success early on. And, inside the numbers, the metrics told you that he was fantastic against the blitz. So what happened? They stopped blitzing him. Okay. Again, it's the adjustments that you make. They talk, okay, about, and when I say they, I'm talking McCarthy and the Cowboys and this whole, I want to run it. We're going to run it. Kellen Moore's out of here. Now I'm going to run it. Then when it doesn't work, they go away from it. Like immediately, abandon that. You know what I'm saying? I forget that. And that commitment to the run game. Another thing that Dak said it in week one. My guy Ferguson's going to have a big game. And he targeted him a lot in that game. So, run game again, this helps out your tight ends for the play action, for the, shocking off pass play on first down. Okay. And it's we keep coming back to it. Everything affects everything. Everything affects everything. There is a flow to the game. All right. And again, it's chess. We go inside, we go left, right, inside, outside. Another baseball analogy, we hit them where they ain't. Right?
Right.
That's what we want to do. Right? And you count on your coaching staff, man, with input from the players in terms of what they're doing and the eye in the sky. Hey, man, they're doing this. Hey, you got this, you got that. These are the adjustments that are made. They are not good enough to just line up and go whip people's ass. It's not too many teams in the NFL that are. Okay? Yeah. You got to have some creativity and some flow, or as Jimmy Johnson used to say, the momentum changers. That's when, as DB alluded to, that, Belichick is going to have a nice little wrinkle, nice little gimmick somewhere. Okay? And again, it's all about the placement and the timing of it. Right? Listen, it's a group. You pick each other up. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching. You pick each other up. Yeah. Right? I mean, and somebody, somewhere, okay, if it's not going to be McCarthy, all right, there's got to be somebody in his ear to point certain things out to him. The question is this massive divide between EQ, head coach in waiting, and McCarthy, who's just completely focused on offense. That's always dangerous, man. I was an offensive head coach, man, but trust me, I knew the situations and I knew what was going on with the defense and the special teams. Just because you have a strong defensive coordinator as a head coach, man, you still got veto power. I'm not saying that Quinn has been doing anything wrong, but hey, man, hey, DQ, hey, man, we're getting murdered in the 7s and 8s on these sweeps. What's up, man? Say something, right? Be involved. Meanwhile, I feel like, this guy's got it, McCarthy's got his back turned and his head down, right? Thinking about offense and shit while they're ripping off 50-yard run plays. Oh, I don't worry about that. I'm the offensive guy. That's very dangerous, man. It's very, very dangerous, man. You need to be in tune with the whole thing, man. You got to be in tune with the pulse. What coaches do beyond preparation, it changes a little bit during the game. Okay, you're not coaching a ton of technique during the game. You've installed that during the week. What coaches really do, and I believe this is football, basketball, whatever. What we really do is we remind you of certain things. We remind the players of certain things during the game that in the course of the chaos of the game, they may have forgotten about. I mean, it is as elementary as a first base coach saying, hey, to a runner on first base, hey, if that ball goes to second, you run inside that guy. Don't let him tag you. Just the reminders. Okay, yeah, geez, you're right. I ran inside. I negated the double play. Stuff like reminders. And
great point.
These reminders are even if don't think that the guy knows it. Don't assume what the player knows. I don't give a rat's ass. He already knows. I don't give a shit. I'm going to keep telling you stuff you already know. Because I want to make damn sure we know it. And that's the thing, man. And this is, again, super interesting today, man. A massive, massive diametric opposition in terms of head coaches today. One is and one isn't in terms of preparation and having the creativity and the smarts, to be able to track and download empirical data and use it, not be caught in a vacuum, not be so single-minded. It's fluid, man. We got to keep it moving, whatever it takes. Now, to kick off where we go into, because I want to segue it fast. I know we're up against it in terms of time.
Yep.
And looking at today's game.
I want to table that real quick. Because I want to talk to your 1 point, and I want to give a shout out to a channel member. And then go ahead, rock on. First off, I want to give a shout out to Machismo TV, man. Putting the hun done on it, man. You guys go some.
Indeed.
Y'all like men-centric content. That's where you go, man. They
Machismo.
They stream every day.
That's love.
Every Sunday, I personally go on there and I give a sports rundown. So tonight I will be on that channel like around 8 o'clock Pacific, which is going to be 10 Central. And I go on there and I give a sports rundown. So y'all don't want to miss that and go over there and subscribe to Machismo TV.
What's CTV?
That's a bet.
Appreciate that, man. I just want to add this little tidbit because I thought that point was very, very important. Because there's a lot of armchair quarterbacks, armchair coaches who like to go and over-evaluate, what a coach does and what your job entails. Colorado, with Coach Prime, he ain't doing all this, he ain't doing that. He's not supposed to. Your staff's supposed to do those kind of things. And one of the things you're supposed to do is remind your kids in the situation, look for this shit. Because to JC's point, being a former Division I athlete, this is stuff you can go over practice all week long. This is stuff that's been embedded in your DNA code all week long. But you guess what? In the actual trenches, you worry about your personal matchup. Because guess what? Somebody start doing this to you and you just lose everything. Because you just like, all right, I ain't about to let this dude show me up, right? So you lose principles. Right. You lose like what we do as a team. And it's incumbent upon the coaching staff to rein you in, because don't assume that they remember everything. I'll give an example, and then I'll pass the baton back to JC. We played against Alcorn State. I want to say it was Alcorn State. I could be wrong. This was shit. My junior year in college. And we were in a press situation, and we were trying to win the game late. And They hit me with the most basic move, like they did 4. So they inbound the ball, 4 down low with the whole full court to operate with. Now, I'm not blaming my coaching staff, but I'm blaming my coaching staff. It was a very tight game. I'm worried about just because I don't know what's gonna go. They should have said, watch out for the leak out. Because that's what happened, man. They did it, and I zigged, my dude zagged, and it was a wide open layup down court. I was like, fuck. And it wasn't because I don't know when a 4 out, inbounds
right.
that can happen.
Right.
I just wasn't thinking about that shit. I was thinking about, okay, I can't be down. But I ain't thinking like, one where your dude just gonna take off, in a straight route, as it were in the basketball world, and just get a wild layup game over.
Right.
So those kind of things can happen. Like, and secondly, when your players in foul trouble, you have to remind them, hey, hands up only. You got 4. You got 4. Don't assume that they just remember they got 4 fouls because they're going to try to make a play. They're going to try to block the shot. Hey, man, 4. It's your job as the coach to keep embedding that in their minds because as competitors, we lose scope sometimes. It turns to a moxie thing, and that definitely goes on at the professional level as well. So I thought that was a great point that needed to kind of
terrific point. The reminders, I love that.
Because you armchair,
we are reminders. That's a great point,
right? Because you armchair coaches don't never talk about little idiosyncrasies like that. You just, he should have called that play. Should call that play. It's deeper than that. It's a lot of stuff that you got to control within your system that goes beyond just what you see on Monday. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a better play call in moment. There are different things at play. Go ahead, Jesse.
So they cherry picked you. They were cherry picking you on that.
But they're not even cherry picking because they don't even acknowledge that part of it because they're not even privy to it.
Well, and again, first of all, tribal leader Cliff, are we doing scores now for today's game?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to the scores. Yeah, let's get to the scores.
All right. I'll be sure, tribal leader.
Yeah, I got to drive an hour to work.
Okay. Now, when a team is at the lowest point, and certainly for this season, the Cowboys are right now at their lowest point. One thing that I don't expect to happen today, which of course means it's a mortal lock that it will, is a huge blowout by the Cowboys. What happens is when you lose a game you felt like you should have won, or there's a real poor performance, the next game, okay, to show that you're on the right track, all right, you gut one out. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm seeing today. And that's especially prevalent in the NFL, okay? Because these games are all decided in the fourth quarter, as we said many times, right? And that's what I see today. My confidence is shaken, but I do still believe. And also, this is in full effect today. All right.
Yeah.
Just waiting to get it cranked up, man. I'm thinking 19-17. And they just grind one out, man. And if that happens, it's a good sign because that's usually what happens. You hit the lows. You don't always reascend back to the highs. You get it back to kind of ground level. You get it nose to nose. You show your true character, and you win one. I hate to say it, I know it's only week 4, but I agree, man. 2-2 heading out to Frisco, that's not good. And
no.
If they do lose today, I think it's a really, really bad sign because the consistency, you can look at how a team loses and how they win. Jimmy used to scrutinize wins. They beat Minnesota by 18 one year, and he ripped them a new one in the locker room.
Good.
Yep.
Because he looked at how you played, how you win, how you lose, right? Mm-hmm. There are no style points, but yet and still, yes, you can find things to nitpick and criticize during wins, okay? If you're really in tune with the football team and if you're, as a spectator, you're really watching, okay? You can't pick stuff apart, all right? Because there are trends that are either good or bad for your football team, all right? I'm going to say again, 19-17, they eke one out. Your boy Aubrey comes through for him with the leg, keeps that thing going. And, then it's on to Frisco, man.
All right.
There go. Good stuff.
There it is. That was good stuff, man.
On deck, let's go.
Real quick, I love your point about, you can find things, that irk you even in wins, or that concern you even in wins. That's happened on this show. We have been consistent in our concern about, even the first 2 wins, the red zone, that's still a concern.
Yes.
Even bigger now. In 2 blowout wins, we were on this show talking about, that's all well and good, man, but we got to get better in the red, because you can't play fill-in-the-blank team with that. We actually named them. You can't play San Francisco kicking field goals. You can't play Miami kicking field goals. You can't play Philadelphia kicking field goals. So they got to get that shit figured out. So I love that point. And even to, finding positive or extracting positive in losses, which there were none last week for Dallas. But again, to use for the 3rd time on this show today, the Colorado game yesterday, there's a buttload of positive to extract from that game. That L. Is it ultimately an L? Absolutely. Is there a lot, if you're following that situation, to be encouraged about? 100%. That said, today's game, I agree with you, man. I think it's going to be a grind. I think it's going to be real reminiscent of the game we had with them 2 years ago. I think that was a 35-29 win. Kind of back and forth. Mac Jones actually played his ass off in that game. And as a matter of fact, the guy that we will not have today made a huge play in that game. At the end of that game, that would be one Trayvon Diggs. So between the game's point, this is a game where you might see a little bit more of missing him. Hopefully not too much. But that said, I think just because of the opponent, I think because of the superior, the Patriots clearly have the edge on the sideline. In-game management, I don't think it's a contest. I think Dallas is going to have to out-talent these guys, because if it comes down to a decision from the sideline, this may not turn out well. That said, I think Dallas was embarrassed, especially defensively. I think they rebound and get after it. I think they caused enough of a disruption to make life a little difficult here for Mac Jones. And with that, I'm going to go 24-19 Dallas.
24-19. Okay. All right. Yeah. I like it. And that's kind of going to be in line with where the Patriots have been. And I'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, listen, man, this is going to be a controversial statement to some people. I believe in moral victories in small doses. Like, I do. Now, the problem is with moral victories, you cannot wear it like a crown or a badge of overall progress.
That's
but
fair.
What you can do is use it as a reference point of things to improve and things to appreciate in a loss. So it's only logical if you get a loss and say like, yo, that was kind of a bad loss. We can't do this shit against somebody else. It's both things happen. So, like you said yesterday, in my opinion, the Colorado game, if we're being honest, we take the moxie, machismo, oh, well, win's a win, loss is a loss. If we take those strident, I guess kind of obtuse lenses off and just kind of see it for what it is, you was getting your ass whooped and you made it a 7-point game to the number 8 team in the nation. Listen, as a coach, I can sell that to my guys.
100%.
Hey, they kept fighting. They kept fighting. There's something to be said
that to go forward to week was it week 6 they're going to? I can sell that. I can't sell 42-7 2 weeks in a row. That's like, yo, that's some soul searching conversation talk, right?
Right.
To take Colorado State, I think that was a great win on their part. And, I guess, the perfect, latitude to this situation is talking about Colorado. I think there's, you appreciate the win, but you go in that locker room like, why the hell is this game this damn close? Like, why do we have to go this far with this guy? Mm-hmm. If I were the coach, I would say that because we're supposed to beat the shit out of Colorado State. Rivalry or not, I get a rivalry kind of sprinkles a little more of that little competitive dust on it. I get it.
Right.
But, like, we supposed to whip their ass. Like, what the hell was that? So I'm like, let's move on, but don't sit here and be pissed about this.
Right.
Right. So both things can be true. So I hate when people are so, obtuse when like, oh, well, ain't no such thing as moral victory. You lost. Not necessarily true. But again, you just don't hang your hat on the moral victory, but you got to acknowledge the part to be, extracted from the game.
Exactly right.
So I got to add that as I go forward because I seen some people getting mad, over Colorado's, moral victory kind of thing. I'm just like, okay, I get it. It's on the front end. It's a little abrasive. It's a little bit off-putting. But overall, like, that's something to build with in film this week. That's something you can show like, yo, you don't get a game up this early. Yo, we don't come out so slow doing this, and this, and talking to coaches too. We can compete on this level, and we've shown it, right? So going forward to this game, yeah, man, we got to come with it because you look at the Patriots resume, they lost 25-20 to the Eagles, week 1. Week 2 lost 24-17 to the Dolphins. Can we agree those are some 2 damn good football teams?
2 of the 5 best, no doubt.
Absolutely. They beat the Jets 15-10. I know we beat the dust off the Jets, but we kind of took their heart early. Now the Jets are 3 weeks into the system of not having AR, or AR8 now. I don't think he's AR12 anymore. So my point is you have a better football team now. They know who they are now, right? It's not that shell shock that you lost like your Lord and Savior, as it were, at quarterback. Mm-hmm. So my point is this is a team that can grind games out, that can play at a high level against teams that are more talented than them. So that is pretty much the scenario coming into today.
Correct.
Now, who will be? Mike McCarthy ain't the best, motivator from what I've seen. But again, he's a Super Bowl coach, so I'm going to give him some modicum of respect. So I think your point was correct, JC. I expect the ground out game. I don't expect to whoop their ass. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he whooped their ass. But I expect more of just a grinded out game. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I see about 21-17 Cowboys. Mm-hmm. We're not surprised by ass whooping, but this team is so disciplined. I'm not gonna prognosticate that whatsoever. So 21-17 Cowboys. It's gonna be a hell of a game, in my opinion. So
I agree,
man.
I agree. Totally agree.
Yep. A great point on the coaching. When you were talking about that and the game with Colorado and USC, it reminded me of Herb Brooks and the 1980 Miracle on Ice team. He purposely scheduled an exhibition with the Soviets right before the Olympics. Okay. Now they lost that game 10-3.
However, they as dusted.
However, the final period, they won 3-2. That's all he focused on.
Yep.
You see what happened in that final period when we play the way we're supposed to play, pushing forward, throwing their game back in their face. Dion can isolate that. If again, that's what I saw from that game, 48-41. After you're getting lit up by 20 in the first half. I mean, you outscored it by 13 in the second. So
they shut them out in the fourth quarter.
Yes, and so exactly. That's what coaches do. When the world thinks your team is terrible, they're not that bad. When the world thinks your team is great, you knock them down a peg. It's just that simple, man. It's the handbook. You know what I mean? It's the handbook, man. It's just that simple, man. You gotta try to keep them on an even keel, man. Keep them working. Oh, and last thing, to those problems that we talked about in scrutinizing wins, right? Like say they had beat Arizona, but still had 4 trips to the red zone and only got 6 points. Hey, that's the kind of shit that'll come back and bite you in the ass later. You won today, but that's a growing trend and a problem. So, again, this one's going to be super interesting, man. Super interesting.
Play action, Rico Dowdle. Let's get it.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it, man. And so, and salute to another show. I know we ran a little bit over time. I got to hustle, get out the door. But thank y'all, gentlemen, for another great show. Thank you Machismo TV and Salty Ball.
Everybody in the chat.
So sponsor everybody in the chat between the game sports. April Renee always showing up from Germany, all the way from Deutschland.
Absolutely.
Who else I missed? Winthrop pulling up late. As real pulling up early, man. Thank y'all so much, man. Y'all make the show go with y'all comments.
That's love, man.
Brown Liquor Boys, aka Straight No Chaser.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
And
I'm going to sneak this one in. How about them Rangers?
All right.